This isn't a story about crime or violence. It's about a man who did everything right, until survival pushed him to do everything wrong. One decision leads to another. Pride turns into desperation, and before he realizes it, the line he promised never to cross is already behind him. This is no other choice. And once the fall begins, there is no way back. In the beginning of the movie, we see Yu family is eating together outdoors, enjoying a peaceful meal. Man-soo, the head of the family, proudly talks about cooking while his wife Miri gathers the children. From the outside, everything looks stable and warm. Man-soo works at a paper company and takes great pride in providing for his family. His job gives him confidence and a sense of purpose. He believes that as long as he can work, his family will be safe. That belief is suddenly shaken. The company is sold to foreign owners, and many employees are let go. Man-soo is one of them. At first, he hides the truth, attending meetings with other laid-off workers and hoping this is only temporary. When he finally tells Miri, she stays supportive and assures him that he will find another job. But time keeps passing. More than a year later, Man-soo is stuck in a low-paying retail job with no future. His attempts to return to the paper industry fail one after another. The family begins cutting expenses. Even their dogs are sent to stay with relatives for a while, which deeply upsets their young daughter. Despite their financial struggles, their daughter continues her music lessons. Her talent is obvious, and her teacher recommends advanced training. Unfortunately, the cost is far beyond what the family can now afford. Their situation worsens when they are forced to downsize, allowing potential buyers to inspect their home. What once felt permanent now feels temporary and uncertain. Miri steps up by taking a job as a dental assistant to help support the family. Man-soo, however, starts growing bitter and withdrawn. He even ignores a painful tooth problem, almost as if punishing himself. Eventually, the pressure becomes unbearable. Desperate for work, Man-soo humiliates himself by begging for a job at another paper company. Instead of sympathy, he is met with quiet cruelty. He is taken to a bar by a manager, despite having stayed sober for years. Still, Man-soo follows, because he feels he has no other option. Later that night, driven by frustration and despair, Man-soo follows the man to a rooftop. For a brief moment, he considers doing something unthinkable, something that could secure his future at a terrible cost. But he is interrupted, and the moment passes. Even so, the thought remains. And once that line appears in his mind, it becomes harder and harder to erase. Man-soo begins to believe that the only way forward is to remove the people standing in his way. He creates a fake job advertisement, not to hire someone, but to identify his rivals. Slowly, he narrows the list down to just 3 men. In his mind, the situation becomes dangerously clear: if they disappear, the job becomes his. To prepare himself, Man-soo retrieves an old weapon connected to his family's past. It's not just a tool anymore. It's a symbol of how far he's willing to go. He starts by watching one of the men closely, a careless, heavy-drinking man trapped in a bitter marriage. Man-soo follows him from a distance, waiting for the right moment. But when an opportunity finally appears, it slips away. Someone unexpected intervenes, and Man-soo panics. Trying to escape, he ends up injured and helpless. Ironically, the very person connected to his target shows him kindness, treating his wound without knowing who he truly is. The next day, Man-soo tries again. This time, he arrives at the man's home and witnesses a personal betrayal unfolding. Realizing chaos is about to erupt, he tries to stop it indirectly, but events move too fast. Emotions explode, control is lost, and what was meant to be planned turns into confusion. In the middle of the disorder, a life is lost, not through calculation, but through panic and struggle. Man-soo barely escapes, shaken and terrified, knowing there is no turning back now. Soon after, Man-soo rushes to confront Miri at a costume party. The setting feels surreal: bright outfits, laughter, and celebration, completely disconnected from his mental state. Overcome by suspicion, he accuses her of betrayal. But Miri calmly explains the misunderstanding. What was meant to be playful and innocent suddenly becomes another argument shaped by fear and mistrust. Miri doesn't hold back anymore. She reminds Mansu of the past he refuses to face, his drinking, his violence, and the damage he once caused their family. Old wounds reopen, and Mansu is forced to see himself not as a victim of circumstance, but as someone who has made dangerous choices before. And now, once again, he is losing control. Mansu later visits a shoe store where one of the remaining men works. At first, the meeting feels ordinary. The two talk about their young daughters, their responsibilities as fathers, and the frustration of struggling to find steady work. For a brief moment, Mansu almost seems normal again, connected to someone who understands his situation. But that connection doesn't stop what's already been set in motion. Later, Mansu is seen standing beside the road, pretending his car has broken down. When the other man stops to help, hesitation takes over. Mansu freezes, unable to act. The moment stretches, heavy with tension. The man senses something is wrong and tries to leave, but fear pushes Mansu past the point of return. By the time it's over, Mansu is left alone, shaken, and fully aware that there is no turning back. The next morning, police officers arrive at the family's home. Mansu is convinced he's been exposed. His panic spikes, until he realizes the visit has nothing to do with him. Instead, it's about a small crime involving the children. Relief quickly turns into manipulation. To protect their own son, Mansu and Miri pressure another parent using a personal secret. They force the situation in their favor, allowing blame to fall elsewhere. Another moral line quietly disappears, almost without discussion. That night, Mansu struggles with what he has done. He moves carefully, trying to erase any trace of his actions. Unknowingly, his son catches a glimpse of this disturbing behavior through the greenhouse roof. He doesn't fully understand what he sees, but he knows it's something deeply wrong. Mansu hides everything beneath the ground in his own backyard, planting a tree above it as if new life can cover old sins. Soon after, detectives visit again, asking about two missing men. Mansu answers their questions, but his words come too easily. He nearly reveals more than he should, speaking as if he already knows the outcome. Suspicion lingers, and while the truth remains buried, the pressure around Mansu continues to grow, tighter, heavier, and impossible to escape. Mansu follows Sonchul to his house and is invited inside for a drink, deliberately pushing him to break his sobriety. The situation turns disturbing when Mansu brutally pulls out his own infected tooth. At the same time, Si-won tells Miri that he believes he saw Mansu burying a body. Worried, Miri secretly digs into the ground and finds Sijo's body, but she lies to Si-won, claiming it was only a dead animal hit by a car. She calls Mansu out of concern, but quickly realizes he has completely lost control. Mansu then kills Sonchul by suffocating him. To hide the crime, he stuffs Sonchul's mouth with raw meat and alcohol and buries him, making it look like he died after choking on his own vomit. Later, detectives inform Mansu that A-Ra is cooperating with the police and has helped build a story that Bom Mo killed Sijo and vanished. Mansu finally gets the job he wanted at Moon Paper, but the factory is almost empty, run mostly by machines, leaving him to work alone. Although his family recovers their belongings and their dogs, Miri and Si-won now clearly understand the kind of man Mansu has become. The film ends with Mansu sitting alone at his workplace, quietly celebrating his success while the machines do all the work around him. Thanks for watching. If you like our work, please like, share and subscribe our channel.